fauna species like frogs, and reptiles and other amphibians, even invertebrates. Then they also provide serve as stopover for migratory birds, since the Philippines is part of the East Asian Australasian flyway, where a lot of migratory birds pass by and when they were stop by our country whenever they migrate from the winter areas to the warmer areas. Also, mangroves are also effective in attenuation of ocean waves that provides protection to coastal communities from storm surges. Okay. And watershed restorations enhances species richness and community structure. They provide habitat for they provide habitats and connectivity, especially in the Philippines, where there are several forests that become fragmented because of loggings. So watershed restorations enables the restores the connection between these forest fragments and provide corridors for the species. So, and another one is for the natural river management, where the programs are implemented within the rivers itself, like the room for the river concept, the meander restoration and floodplain widenings. Uh, Unconstrained rivers exhibit dynamic physical processes that create a shifting mosaic of habitats, thereby creating multiple patches of habitats that enhances the biodiversity of the area, where different groups or different animals essentially just uh, occupy these habitats. And the wetlands the areas that were created support species and wildlife histories. So I will just go through some of I think, the more recent initiatives done in the Philippines when it comes to nature-based solutions. So the first one is like earlier this year, the Oceana Philippines uh, uh, launched the Dear Mr. President campaign, wherein they sought letters and from citizens to ask or essentially urge the president to prioritize the passing of the National Coastal Greenbelt Act. And with the proposed National Coastal Greenbelt Bill establishes a comprehensive program to designate priority coastal greenbelt zones across the countries, including mangroves, beach forests, and other coastal vegetations. It essentially aims to create a National Coastal Greenbelt Action Plan to guide the rehabilitation, reforestation, and protection of these species. And several programs are also funded by the Philippine-Canada Partnership on Nature-Based Solutions for Climate Adaptation, a partnership between the Forest Foundation Philippines, and the Government of Canada. These are programs that are currently being funded or ongoing that started this year in Negros Island, the San Carlos City Collaborative Restoration of River Easement utilizing nature-based solutions, the Sustaining Sicaba Watershed through Agroforestry and Local Enterprise, then the CBFMA, or the Community-Based Forest Management Agreement for Nature-Based Solutions. Then for the youth, uh, for the youth initiatives, the Association of Filipino Forestry Students of the University of the Philippines Los Baños have the Bakawan project since 2012, and they have been working with the communities for the essentially mangrove reforestation and rehabilitations. Then another youth initiative that is the Mangrove Matters PH. They're essentially a group of people who's been doing mangrove restoration, leading mangrove restorations, doing environmental advocacy campaigns, holding educational discussions, and representing the youth in several symposiums and forums. So yeah, I mean, all of these um, projects and initiatives have one thing in common, and they are all, let's say, a community, like a multi-stakeholder and community engagement are all key essentials for their implementation. So I think that's part of it. So yeah, um, let me end my presentation with just one quote. So when resilience is glorified and used to romanticize sufferings, we risk normalizing systemic failure and incompetence. So yeah, if we're not going to change what has been, we're not going to change the system that has been in place, a broken system. I don't think anything will ever change with the way we're living, and we'll continue to experience floodings and continue to lose lives if nothing's going to ever change. So yeah, I thank you. Oh my.
Thank you so much for that, Pau. I think that was a really powerful presentation, especially what you shared right here on screen. That's extremely profound. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that was, I think we're all just blown away. That was amazing. And I feel like we have a few people dying to ask questions at this point, but we're going to save that for the end and proceed with our next speaker. Give me 1 minute
Thank
to
you.
reshare my screen, everyone. Okay. All right. So our next speaker is from Sri Lanka. He is actually on Gibbon SL's steering committee. So this is Pranathathri Sharma. Sharma is an oceanographer, environmentalist, and climate change activist, specializing in climate change and pollution effects. And he is currently working on the cleanup project surrounding the MSC Elsa 3 ship disaster, and he's focusing on the Jaffna district and surrounding islands. So Sharma, again, I'm going to stop sharing and let you share your presentation.
Can you hear me, guys? Can you see
Yes, we
my
can hear you.
screen? Thank you. Uh, yeah. So basically, I'm going to talk about Cyclone Ditwa, and also I'm going to talk about how that cyclone works, how they form, what are the effects, some oceanographic parameters I'm planning to explain for you. So I'm trying to be less scientific and more into human way as possible to understand. So basically, first, what is cyclone? Basically, it's circling wind, which will have a warm core with the low pressure center. We will call that one as the eye. Surround that eye, they are going to be the circus overcast of that dense wind around that region. So when we see some how they develop, there are some conditions supposed to be fulfilled. It should be warm ocean water supposed to be there. Also, that atmosphere supposed to cool fast with the height, and moist yeah, near to mid level, around toposphere on mid level. So generally, that minimum distance from that cyclone forming region should be 300 mile, around 480 kilometers from equator supposed to be. Then there should be some near surface disturbance like pressure variation should be, we need that. Then some vertical wind, that outflow, exhaust, those kind of things we should need to develop. So when we see, when someone telling about cyclone warning, they will tell in the order tropical depression, then tropical storm, then tropical cyclone. So they first start with the word depression, so which is a kind of atmospheric depression in pressure, that's which will develop into cyclone eventually. So when we see, there is different kind of cyclone criteria: low pressure area, depression, deep depression, cyclonic storm, severe cyclonic, very severe cyclonic, extremely severe cyclonic, super cyclonic. So when we see this Ditwa, whatever happened on Sri Lanka, which is fall under cyclonic storm, now everyone started to wonder, then it can be worse. Yeah, it can be worse. It's only we are on the midway. It can even be super cyclonic storm with the future. So we'll come to that topic when following. So this is one of the structure of the tropical cyclone happened in 1991. You can see that eye place having low pressure around that area. There is surrounding low pressure that surrounding that area having the high pressure, which is circulating around that as the cyclone in a circling way. So when we are forecasting, we can forecast, or as the meteorology department, or whoever the oceanographic students, or whoever modeling, we can predict the path. But that path can't be shown definitely this way that cyclone going to be. So when we are doing, we will do some predict some different pathway should be that cyclone can be go. So it can be vary even after predictions. So when we are predicting, we will predict with the time that cyclone's radius will be increased. With that path and the radius increment, we will declare as the danger area of that cyclone movement. So this is the exact image. You can see that closely. So that danger area should be on the path of that cyclone, basically. So this is one of the cyclone happened on 2022 Buravi. This is the path of that Buravi cyclone. This is the danger zone of that cyclone with the movement. So I already mentioned severe cyclonic storm. It can be worse. Is it happened before? If you ask in Sri Lanka, yeah, on 1978 there was one severe cyclonic storm was happened. That maximum wind was, we on our meteorology department they predict as 145 kilometer per hour. But satellite image and Washington satellite disturbance summary, they made 2222 kilometer per hour and the 206 kilometer per hour. Also, storm surge height, it became around Batticaloa region 2 meters. There was 915 people were dead, many people disabled, lot of people affected, lot of the houses, those kind of things damaged on that 1978 cyclone. So these are some parts of 20th century cyclones around Sri Lanka. You can see that from 90s to 2000, whatever the cyclones went through the Sri Lanka, showed on this image. So when we are telling warning, we will give white, yellow, red, green kind of a warning. Red is cyclone is there. Then green is false warning or withdrawal of warning, those kind of things we will tell that. Then storm surge. Basically storm surge is what is when cyclone happen on severe way that water from ocean will come into the coastal regions. It's basically more like tsunami, but not a tsunami. But tsunami will have here good wave and which will destroy, but surge only bring the water inside the coastal region and which will sunk that region. That's basically storm surge, which is can be triggered by wind. Heavy wind can pull the water inside the coast. Also that pressure variance also can be pull the water inside the coast. Basically it can be worsened with the high tides. If high tide is there, that penetrating of water will be high also on storm surge. When we see storm surge on around 1993, which was around 0.5 meter height, we felt on Manna, Veraville, Punagiri kind of regions. So when we see cyclone Buravi, that cyclone Buravi made around 1 meter height of storm surge on that regions. So when we see the cloud formation, you basically know that that cloud forms with the water molecules when it's they evaporate that vapor that sorry when they vaporize, they will go onto sky, and they will start to attach with something called nuclei, which is ionized water. You can think like that way, which will condense together and which will form the cloud. So when we see thunderstorm clouds, they will towering clouds basically within small region with will tower with the height within this short region, which will look like the cauliflower basically. So there is three stages: the towering stage. When towering stage, that flow formation will be on the upper, that warm flow will be on upper towering stage. On mature stage, that towering also will happen. Then flow downflow also will be there. When the downflow get cut off, which will start to dispatch. So when storm surge, that thunderstorm cloud dispatch, which will start to rain basically. So you can see when we started dispatch, we will call that cloud as a cumulonimbus. Basically, nimbus mean in Latin cloud. So this is one of the fully developed cumulonimbus cloud. When they are making that thunderstorm cloud, they will make kind of a slow motion on the upper region, that anvil shaped kind of a topospace will be there. So basically, when they are dispatching, they will pour very rapidly, quickly on a certain region. Basically, there is a lot of things going to influence on that: moisture, instability of that atmosphere, then lift of wind, and vertical wind shear. Those kind of things going to be influence on that storm. I'm not complexing that things because it's quite a little bit more complex things how they form and they dispatch. So I am stopping there. Just understand that one. So when land is hot, that vapor started to evaporate. Basically, that thunderstorm cloud will form over the terrestrial surface more than the ocean surface. With the global warming, the tower of that height of that thunderstorm clouds will be high, more than usual. They can be stable and they can go very high. Basically, with that when that wind flow, that upper shear will be elevate with the mountain ranges. So basically, when you see, there will be highest rainfall you will observe around the mountainous region. For an example, Sri Lanka, Kandy, Gampala, those kind of regions, we will see highest rainfall over whenever cyclones happen. This is the reason that mountain range, they're going to accelerate that motion of forming on that thunder cloud basically. So there's something called latent heat. So it's basically a heat when water vapor get condensed, they will lose certain amount of heat, which will turn into some kind of kinetic energy on motion, which will flow. That I told that upper shear, lower shear, those kind of things going to happen because of this energy. You don't trust me? This thunderstorm can hold the energy around 20 kiloton of nuclear explosion. One thunder cloud, that thunderstorm cloud can carry that much energy. That's why you are seeing that lightning, thunder, whatever the happening because of that. It hold that simple cloud have that much energy within them. So it's nature's wonder actually. So yeah, basically, you know that thunder hazards, lightning, downbursts, flash floods, hail, tornadoes, those kind of things, you may see that. So when we see the flash floods, which is going to connect to that thunderstorm. Just think, if there is a certain region getting rapid rainfall within little amount of time, there is that drainage system flow of the water will get stuck. So that water going to get stuck. So that level of water going to rapidly increase within the region. So just think, within 6 hours, that whole thunderstorm cloud pouring down. Just thinking that situation. So which will going to make the flash floods basically. So if you observe, you can see that floods basically very high on the period of night, because there is going to be big vertical shear and the moisture going to also be the friendly for pouring. So basically you're supposed to be careful on night whenever cyclones happens. So some of the lessons from Sri Lankan that deadliest modern natural disasters did recently happened. So it's happened on 20th November, which is started. So there is floods, deadly landslides was happened. Then this is the path of that cyclone Ditwa basically. So it's formed on 26, 27. So landfall was happened 27, 28. Then Bay of Bengal, which is re-entry on November 27, the 29. Then weekend on December 2, 3. These are the dates, just for knowledge. So when we see the damages have done, 410 people were dead. Actually, 336 people were missing. Still, they are under the, how to say, they are still under the landslide. They are still recovering. They are still stuck. Their body also we couldn't able to recover. Still, we are working on that one. Lot of things are destroyed. Lot of people, kids, patients get affected because of this flood situation. Then Kandy, Nuvarelia, Badulla, Matala, Puttalam, Colombo, Gampahaman, those kind of districts get more affected on this Ditwa. So basically, why this was happened too hard? Unusual trajectory of slow movement of that cyclone. That's why we call disaster. We can't predict. It will make destruction. We can protect. We can't stop. That's why we call disaster. Basically, that's what happened on 2011 tsunami. Also, they had very well prepared Fukushima, but still it's got destroyed. So these things happen. Then topographical vulnerability. When we are planning, we didn't plan for this kind of flow situation, those kind of landslide. Then early warning system gets damaged. We didn't get that much early warning system. Then drainage system maintenance was worse. We couldn't able to pour the irrigation things was stuck. There's no flood flow. So dam mismanagement happened. Then communication gap. Our country had dialogue Yatel kind of a providers. Their connection was very slow on that. It's actually didn't work. So I have to shout out that this is one of the worst scenario. Even in danger, we couldn't able to connect. Such a worst situation. So they should shame on it. Then institute that inaction. We are irresponsible. We didn't try to sell. We behave selfish. So basically, civic sense. That's one of the thing made things hard. But we did lot of recovery things. Lot of good things happened. Lot of helps happened. Yeah, peoples are there. But just some of the things made things hard. Just for indicating. So these are the scenarios of flood this year happened. So this is landslide happened on Kandy. One of the new building was destroyed with landslide. Like this, lot of buildings was destroyed. So one of the landslide. So basically, these are the main things I needed to talk. I concluding here. So I'm passing my torch to other talker. So in the end of the session, feel free to ask the question. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Sharma. Again, a completely different angle from what Pau took, but still very interesting and in its own way. In particular, love the information you gave, especially for lay people. Like, I have no idea about how any of this, like the oceanographic angle of things, I have no idea. So this was really insightful in that way. Like you said, I'm going to pass it on to the next speaker, the next two speakers actually. So give me a moment, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Can I have some? Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, we can.
So yes, our last two speakers from Italy. I'm going to go one by one. So first we have Mattia, who is the co-coordinator at GYBN Italy and a climate activist with the Climate Reality Project. He's also currently conducting research at the University of Bologna on the circular economy and sustainability transitions. And then we have Selene. So Selene is a socio-environmental scientist conducting research at the University of Bologna as well, where she holds a PhD. And she's also a civic protection volunteer and a city councillor in Castel Bolognese. Both speakers have had direct experience with flood relief efforts and also working on community-based risk management initiatives for flooding and extreme weather events. To give you all some perspective, in 2023, during the Emilia-Bologna floods, Selene's entire community was actually affected by this extreme weather event. So we're going to clearly have a lot of insight from both of them. They will be sharing a 15 to 20 minute slot to present their work. Over to both of you. I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you. I'll take the floor to start this conversation. Thank you, Alina, and all the organizers to be here, all the participants. It's a pleasure actually for me to representing GYBN Italy to make this connection with Sri Lanka. And I'm also a climate activist, as I mentioned. I'm passionate about the environmental cause, we can say. So I do also struggle to take can I say to continue from where the previous speakers stopped, because when we talk about these matters, talk about people that lose their life. So it's a really tough challenge to discuss. Uh, I'm in the first. I have been lucky. I never get hit by a flood, but my friends surrounding me didn't have the same fortune. And so basically, I found myself being an environmental activist, facing a territory which is changing. Okay. And so what I'm going to present you, what I thought could be interesting to share with you today, is an experience I had not as part of GYBN Italy, but this is not the point. I mean, so I decided to bring it to you anyways. And basically, to give you a context of what we experience in our region, if I can control the screen. Okay, can you see the screen, right? Yeah.
Yes, perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If you don't know Italy, of course, we are in the northern part of Italy, and where you can see in the Emilia-Romagna region is basically an alluvial plain. You can see that all the waters kind of concentrate towards the Adriatic Sea on the right. And we are from Bologna in the middle of the plain. Selene is actually from a town which is closer to Imola, slightly on the right side. And in 2023, as anticipated, we experienced really severe floods. Here you can see some data, and I'm sorry that some of them are Italian. We did manage to make up this presentation very last minute, so forgive me for some translations that are missing. But as you can see, basically in 2023, we experienced in less than 1 month two severe extreme weather events, one at the beginning of May 2023 and the second at the halfway through the month, and for a total of 4 billion cubic meters that fell all over the plain. And as you can see, the whole region in the picture get affected with 23 river flows that get flooded. As I said, I was lucky. I didn't get hit by these, but Selene, she was, for example. And so a lot of struggles. I will be quick. What happened that me as an activist, as a friend of people that get affected, what can I do? What can I do for them? Also in my perspective. So I gathered a group of friends, also of activists from different groups, and we designed our one a day in presence event to co-design with local citizens solutions to face the challenge of floods. So together with these people, my friends, we designed this Climaton Crevalcore event. Climaton is basically a branded event which you can explore on the internet, supported by the Climate Kick community, is basically an hackathon group challenge designed to inspire the co-creation of ideas and solutions which can face global challenges like climate crisis, etc., but with a local lens. And in Crevalcore, which is a small municipality close to Bologna, we designed this event, which shaped as a one-day event from the morning to the evening, featuring experts, exchanges, groups, working groups supported by facilitators, and also some funny moments, more relaxing moments with the support of comedians and other artists. We asked to the groups of participants who decided to join our event, we proposed them a challenge, okay? A challenge to address, like the floods challenge. And we divided this challenge into 3 levels of actions. Each group could decide which level they want to focus on. One level was focused on more the previous part of an emergency, so the rising awareness and education part. The second level of action was related to the management of the extreme event, so when it hit. And then the third level of action was more related to the territorial approach, so how we can manage the territory in a better way. Each group focused on one of these levels, and throughout the day, we supported them with a very structured co-participation and co-creation process. I'm not going to go deep into the process, but just to give you some ideas, I put here some pictures. And at the end of the day, each group presented their ideas to a larger audience, more in a game perspective than in a like winner and losers perspective. We designed it to be more funnier than as a competition. And what is the outcome, which I think is more interesting? We collected all the ideas from the groups and designed a portfolio, documentation, collecting all those ideas that could be shared with other stakeholders. And I think that the other important part of this experience was the stakeholders we engaged to design the process. We engaged the local municipality, but also was fundamental the support of experts like researchers from the university or experts that are in charge of managing the territory and the rivers systems. I can share with you the portfolio, which unfortunately, again, is in Italian, but just to give you maybe some ideas of what citizens designed. And I now prefer to give the floor to Selene, which again was part of this process as an expert, as a contributor, given her experience. But Selene is also a researcher, which is practicing with these topics, is a friend, a close friend of mine. And so recently she also is dealing with a new risk event. I don't know how to call it. So Selene, you can also bring some updates on what is happening in these days in your town. So please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hi everyone. Mattia, I'm gonna share the
Yeah.
screen from my okay. So while I'm sharing the screen, I just introduced myself. Thank you very much for inviting me in this event. I hope that it will be kind of helpful. Actually I was expecting like very informal conversation, so I guess it will be very informal conversation from my side anyway. Because as Mattia said, we experienced flooding as well since 2023. That was our first time in the area. I mean, first time since I'm alive, because also it happened back in the days, like in mid of the 19th century. It happened, but of course we don't even have memory of that because it was like right after the Second World War. So not even our grandparents are they do remember that kind of event. But since 2023, our region is experiencing very more often heavy rains that we cannot call cyclones, but and we cannot even call them monsoon. There's no specific, let's say, meteorological term to explain them. It's mostly like extreme events due to the heating of the sea, the Mediterranean area, and the clash between different yeah, actually every time is different. So climatologists are still learning, and they're still studying this kind of phenomena, because they are kind of we only know what is the results, and usually the results is a flash flood or flooding of the whole region. So what happened in this presentation, I will, instead of going through the scientific part of the flooding, I will show you and present you mostly the social results, the social outcome of those extreme events that affected our community since 2 years. Let's start saying that so our country is a bit hilly. So that say that the morphology is like this one that you see on the picture. So there is a hill and there is a valley in between that cut the mountains with this river. The name is Senio, and the rivers flow down to a plain. And my city is right at the beginning of the plain area. So at the end, in between hills and the plain. And what happened in the past years is that while in the mountains the river can flow, can say freely and naturally, down in the plain has been very much anthropized. Like we use it for farming, for any kind of anthropic activities. So the flow of the river has been changed a lot, and has been also forced to follow a route that is not the one that was supposed to follow in the past days. So what happened was that in the first time we experienced this extreme event, so a rain that was like heavier than usual. It was in early May 2023. And it was also kind of something very exceptional. You can see here that we spent the night trying to get out water from the basements, and everyone, all the you can see here in the center, all the old people were just like looking at the river out from the river on the street, and it was kind of an exceptional event. But if you can see it on the right, everyone was still kind of okay with this event, kind of having fun, not fun, but very much like, oh, this is an extreme event. We are all safe. Okay, some of our basement were being flooded, but we can recover easily. And we spent the whole night trying to fix the house of our friend, which is this one with the milk in the end. Not the one smiling, but the other one. His house got flooded that night, but we were just helping out, saying, okay, this was super random, it's not going to happen anymore. And so after 2 weeks anyway, this is what happened. So first time, only a couple of houses were flooded. We are about we are about 10,000 people in the village, okay? And only like 4 families, 5 families were affected by the first flood, okay? So we are talking about really like not even 20 people. And all the community was helping out. But then 2 weeks after, this on the right, you can see this is the normal level of the river. And then at some point, all of the sudden, in 12 hours, the river start growing, and it passed through all the yellow stage, the orange stage, and then at some point, the graph was not even supporting the level of the alert, because it was the graph could only arrived until 7 meters, okay, but the river flowed above 8 meters above the normal level, okay. So we were all at home saying like, sorry, I'm gonna say it as like strictly how we were saying in the WhatsApp group, what the fuck is happening? And we're like, all of a sudden the river got out from the river flow, the normal one, and it was in the night, of course, because this kind of stuff always happened during the night. We don't know why, but this is how it is. And so our mayor start sharing on the WhatsApp chat of our city and the Facebook group, this kind of alerts, like, go on the highest floor of your house, please don't go in the street, please don't go and check on the river, please stay at home, and so on. And this is what happened. Like after a couple of hours, the river started flooding the whole city. I don't know. Yeah. And we were chatting on our WhatsApp group, very, very scared, because it was the first time that everyone, and I'm saying like the whole 10,000 people of our village, we were kind of scared because and asking everyone, "Oh, what is happening? Are you safe? Are you at home? Be careful." And a friend of ours, for example, he was going to his grandparents' house to help them out, and we were worried about him. And at some point, finally, he arrived to my house, and we saved him because he was in the flood. And this is our city, our village, completely flooded. The brown streets that you can see, they're actually normally they are streets. They are gray, but completely we were completely flooded, and the river, instead of passing by the normal way, he decided to take over the whole town. So what happened was, and just a bit of a context from Italy. Our houses, all of them, they have basement. So, and some of those basement are from like the early 1500. Okay, so we are talking very much of super old buildings from medieval age and so on. So you can imagine that under the city there are at least two basement underground, and all the basement were filled up with water. At some point the city center also had risk to collapse because it's kind of a hole. The city center is it's just a hole because yeah, I don't know, this is how in the medieval age they decided to build the city. Right now, if anyone builds a new house, usually they don't build a basement because now we are scared. But my house as well. Yeah, this is the truck of the firefighters that were supposed to help. They fall in a sinkhole as well. So the situation was not really okay because they were supposed to help, but we went to help them. And this, for example, was my basement. Yeah, it was already okay, but we had to pump out the water from our basement. And the other issue was about not just water, but we had a lot of sediments, a lot of muds all over the city, at least like 1 meter all over above the water as well. And all this stuff you can see are all the things that people were keeping in the basements and in the first floor, because also first floor of houses got flooded because we had 1 meter and 5 look sorry 150 centimeters of water above the sea level, the street level, sorry. And so yeah, anyway, and we start helping. So I'm talking about community right now. This emergency made us understood that was the most important thing. Of course, we were experiencing like extreme an extreme situation of our life, but it was the most important to help each other to get out from that situation as soon as we could. So we start organizing people that also came from all over the region to help out the houses and people that couldn't do it by themselves. And we hosted more than 3,000 people from other cities that came to help us. We organized them in teams, and all the teams had a different chief that would lead them to a specific house and tell them what was needed to fix the situation in the house. And from this experience, what happened that we create the volunteering civil protection group in Castel Bolognese. And this happened not only in Castel Bolognese, but also in other cities. We decided to create this group of people, and the mayor helped us to build it. I don't know if you have civil protection. I guess so. There should be civil protection in Sri Lanka as well. Alina, do you confirm that or not? Because I'm not
I'm gonna hand that
sure.
over to Sharma because he works in this line as well. Sharma?
Sharma.
That civil, once again, what's that?
The civil protection group, do you have it? No. Anyway, I will
No.
explain you what a civil protection group is. So basically, okay, let me show. This is kind of volunteers. So like you do in a GYBN, okay, same, but we are active. Okay, we are active only during the emergencies. Okay, so only in this case, on during the year we only train. Okay, we have trainings to solve and to be active in the emergency as fast as we can. Okay, so for example, yesterday during Christmas time we had an emergency, same as in 2023. So it happened on the 24th and 25th of December, so 2 days ago. The river level started because it was very heavy raining again, and the level of the river was rising very fast. At some point, our mayor ask us to be prepared because of a possible floodings event. Okay, so it might happen because the river was overgoing the red level, because we have three type of level of emergency: the yellow one, the orange one, and the red one. The red one, of course, is the most critique one. And we were going through the red level. Okay, so what happened? All those people, this one, and I also have a video, and this one, okay, we have emergency room. This is the emergency room, for example, where we have all the instruments like laptop, and all the connection with the sensors, people expert in precipitation, people expert in communication. And in this room we start, sorry, I don't know what happened. In this room we start to communicate with the population, a kind of early warning system of communication with citizens, where we start saying, okay guys, we are going through an orange emergency situation. We're going through, and we give information through the WhatsApp channels or the Facebook ones. And we monitor also the river at the same time, together with the mayor, together with technician, together with meteorologist, and so on. All those people, except for the technician and the mayor, all those people are volunteers from the city. So like people that trained and that is expert in floodings because of trainings, but it's not paid. Okay, it's not a job. And then we have another team, which is the welcome team. We call it this way, or caretaker, which are the ones that are supposed to welcome the people that are moved out from their houses, because in case of emergency, red emergency, all the people is forced to go to the sports palace, so like to the main building of the city, which is the only place that doesn't get flooded. So everyone is forced to go there, and this team take cares of the people coming. So for example, this is the team, and this is the safe place. I don't know why I had to have another picture. No, okay. So what happened now is that we have about 70 people active in the civil protection group, and we are all between 20 and 40 years old, so very young. Usually civil protection here was with people about with like 70, so 70 and above, but of course elderly people cannot help. They are not strong enough, they are not agile anymore, they cannot do much of the stuff, and this is why we require to be young and but above 18 years old. So you need to be not underage, but also you cannot be that old. Okay, and then when you get older you can do other activities like cooking, or you can take care of the elderly, but you cannot, for example, go at the river and do actions. I don't know how to explain it better, but I hope that it's clear. And now we are prepared. Our preparedness made us be active this time in this emergency within 30 minutes. And it was Christmas Day. So in 30 minutes, really, we were ready to move all the people in the safe space. And we were ready with all the teams doing their stuff, communicating with the citizens and so on. Can I say that is not easy? It has been 2 years of preparation, and now we are improving and improving. And it's about training, it's about networking, it's about knowledge, and it's about experience. I'm sure like the first time that happened, we were not ready. There were no one knowing what to do, how to organize. There's nothing on the table. But then it is, even though it's not really nice to say, but it's learning by doing. But one of the of our main line is always saying, we always say, we hope to have our clothes clean. We want to have our clothes clean. So which means there's no flood emergency. If you have your clothes clean, it means that you don't have to help and there's no emergency. So yeah, this is the whole story. Anna has a question. Are these volunteers local? Do they come from the same village? Yes. The 70, we are all from the same village, and the reason is easy. So we are 10,000, okay, in the village. And 70 people means at least 70 families, which means that more than half of the population is involved, even though not directly, but they are involved. They know what the civil protection do and what the volunteers do. Okay, so more or less everyone is learning how to behave in case of emergency through at least one volunteer. You know what I mean. And also on the other side, since we are 70, we live all across the village, and if any emergency happen, we can go and ring at the bell, because people knows who lives in the street. So if there is a like a elderly person that lives alone, but there is a volunteer living in that street, this person, the volunteer, knows that this person is alone and can help directly before the emergency. So it's all about preparedness, it's all about prevention instead of working afterwards. Like yesterday, nothing happened at the end. There were no floods because luckily the rain stopped, and also we took other activities that help the river to, let's say, lower the how do you call it, the flow. Anyway, those are very technical stuff, but we were prepared. So everyone was already safe because we were prepared. And that's all.
Selene, I think that's just amazing. First of all, Selene and Mattia, thank you both for your lovely presentations. Again, a completely different angle, but I just love seeing that community-based risk management point of view and your own personal stories. It was truly amazing. And Selene, about the civic protection groups, so like Hanan, right? Hanan has said on the chat, it really is truly commendable because I'd actually like Sharma and Pau to weigh in here based on Sri Lanka and Philippines. But at least in Sri Lanka, from the little knowledge I have, there's definitely a communication gap, number one. We definitely have communication gap, and early warning system in that way it was kind of there were issues because of communication as well. Because we're a trilingual country. There are three languages here, and everything was not equally communicated in all three languages. So, I just before opening up the floor for the audience, I just want to call on Sharma maybe and also Pau to weigh in. Like, is there a gap in your respective countries? Like, we're talking country-wise now, but what Celine had was
Yeah,
kind of on a village basis. But
actually,
can you all weigh in here?
oh, that Celine's earlier question, do you have? I think we don't have. Actually, we did what was our triforces and the volunteering groups, clubs. They was the one who involved on these kind of activities, recovering stuffs. Government they did using triforces actually. Recovery things also done by them. Also, another thing you may share, you mentioned that instantly before happening that disaster, we share the things, those kind of things. Yeah, like Alina earlier mentioned, we had what issue is networking issues. We had very bad network within that disaster. We actually tired of that. It's kind of a extreme issue. We couldn't even able to, for an example, what was happened to one of my friend. She's from southern part of Sri Lanka. She's studying on northern part. She actually wanted to know what happened to her family, but she couldn't able to connect with them more than 3 days. Even after cyclone passes, that network is not fixed. So it was too bad situation we had. Then other thing, yeah, actually I am very sorry to hear everything happened to Celine, her personal traumas between that floods. Yeah, actually I also stuck between the island. One isolated island I went to survey. I actually stuck between cyclone. When I am coming back from Ireland, I got a lot of messages from my friends. Even Alina sent a message, "Are you okay? Are you well?" So yeah, it's such a bad situation. But yeah, Sri Lanka had issues with handling that one.
Yeah, the network issues were definitely very frustrating. And also, I think there was I wish I could tell you more, I communicate better on this, but if I'm not mistaken, there were also issues with communicating the warnings correctly in all three languages equally in all regions of the country. There was a gap there. I just want to ask how is there a system like this in Philippines right now, or can you weigh in on your experiences in that area?
Um, at the moment, I am not aware of any large scale uh, initiatives for addressing communications. Like whenever there's a natural disaster that's happening, like all network cells just start to fail. So communications are very hard, and then some people in the government agencies are not trained for disaster communication. So like critical informations are not passed down easily and efficiently. And there's a lot of times like whenever some like people or like citizens or residents post their like situations, it gets flooded or being drowned by other information because there's a lot coming from other people. So there's a lot of things that needs to be improved when it comes to disaster response, especially when we need to have like the most up to date information, especially right now when everyone seems to be reliant on internet communication. But what would the people do if the internet is down? If they can connect to the internet, how would they know if they need to move away further from where they're at that moment? And that is actually what happened, I believe, in sometime a few years ago, where they were caught by surprise by a sudden flood, and some early warning systems were not working properly at that time. So they were like stranded within a building, and a lot of lives were lost during that day. So yeah, there's a lot that needs to be improved. But all those,
Okay.
sure. But despite that, a lot of citizen groups have formed just to address their local situations. Like within our university, we have the Serve the People Brigade, where different student volunteers like gather and help to provide relief operations to other areas where actions are much more needed. Since our university is fortunately not prone to floodings, so there's that. A lot of the times, the citizens are much more reliant on other citizens and not really where we should be relying on.
About the tech issue, like we have the same because even though it can see from other country that maybe Italy is like it has more like well connected, or it has more networks and so on, or more that doesn't work in an emergency situation. For example, our region, they have this kind of website where you can see the river level, okay? But the website is open to everyone, so you can imagine how can a server can support the thousand of people looking at the same time on the same data. Of course, it doesn't work. And for example, during the emergency this time, the website was down. And this is the one that is supposed to give you data for decision making. It doesn't work. It has many issues. So what happened? And I know that hope that this is like informal talk. What happened is that a friend of ours, one of the volunteers, he is a tech guy. So he gathered data directly from the satellites and from different apps, and through a dashboard that he built, okay, we can take data from external servers, not from the one that the national website is supposed to give us. Same happened for like communication. We don't have like phones. We don't use phones among the teams, but we use radio, okay, during emergency, because we cannot rely on the internet connection, the general internet connection, or we cannot rely on phone, because you never know when the electricity I mean, electricity can stop anytime during a flooding. So we try to go offline, let's say offline. Also with citizens, we rely a lot on the police that goes with the car around the city and screaming, "Well, you had to get out from your houses, come," and we knock at the door directly. Like knocking is very offline, the activity of prevention. It cannot be online, because you never know if you still have energy, like electricity or not. And this is all over. It's not Europe, it's not Asia, it's not Africa. It's like everywhere, because electricity is not like forever. It doesn't exist in an emergency situation. So this is what we really need to keep in mind. And this is also the other reason why the civil protection is very context based and very much on the territory, because we need really to know the place that we are in and know the people that we have to protect. And it cannot be like 5 cities together. You need to find a small place to take care of and then go for that 10,000 people, not more than that. Okay.
Mattia, I think, has raised his hand.
Yeah, can I have 1 minute? Yeah. No, just to add that what I was thinking that from my perspective, I am an activist, so I think how can I support people to address these very, very complex challenges, because they are very, very, as you said, we mentioned it, so many domains and areas. And from the Selene experience, what fascinates to me the most, if we can use this word, of course, in this context, is the community-based approach. Because when you acknowledge that,
Mati, sorry.
yeah.
I have to go.
Yeah.
Sorry but yeah.
No, sure, Celine.
But if you have any question, just contact me. Now you have my email address. So, and I'm open to informal meetings always if you want to know anything else or to exchange our experience as well.
Okay, thank you so much. And before you go, can we have just 1 minute to take a group picture? Is that okay? Just like 30
Yeah,
seconds?
sure.
Okay, awesome. Okay, guys.
So all the participants, if you can, please turn on your cameras if you can. So we are appreciating that one for group pic. Yeah, Alina, you go ahead. Yeah, thank you.
I'm going to stop sharing then and take okay, let me start one with the background as well. So I'll just take one and then off the sharing as well. Okay, I'll give a countdown on one. All right, it's 3, 2, 1. Guys, I'm sorry. Once more. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Let me just save that. Just gonna stop sharing. Give me 1 minute, Celine. I'm so sorry. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, once more. Participants, if possible, if you can on your cameras. I know that most of us are camera shy though, so completely understand that if anyone can have their cameras on, that would be great. Okay, I'm gonna go again on 3, 2, 1. Right, just capturing that on. Okay, thank you so much. Celine, thank you so much for your time, for being here today. We really appreciate it. And it was honestly very helpful. It's very insightful to talk to people from different regions and sort of connect the dots and see where we're at. So thank you so much, and we hope that we can connect with you again soon.
Yes, please. Email
Thank
us.
you,
And
Celine.
Thank you,
thank you
Celine.
very much. Hope to talk to you soon. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Bye. Okay. I think Mattia, where were we at? You had asked a question on connecting the dots. I think yeah, you can carry off from there.
Yeah, I just wanted to add some thoughts on the discussion we were having, but if someone else has some questions, no issue to interrupt me. Anyway, I just wanted to bring that from the Selene experience, what I bring, what I take home as a message from an environmental activist perspective is that you have to acknowledge that basically no matter which context you live in, if it is Italy or Sri Lanka or else, your usual infrastructures, technological infrastructures, physical infrastructures like streets, are not going to work in those complex moments. because those are extreme events that works outside normal conditions. And our systems are all designed for normal conditions, to operate in those normal conditions. So if we acknowledge the fact that our, for example, communication systems are not going to work in those moments, we need to find a new solutions, a new way to approach the situation. And Selene, what inspires me the most from their experience is that the community fill those gaps, because it's the community that has the knowledge. Inside the community, there are people skilled to understand complex data. Perhaps there are people skilled to understand complex, perhaps there are people able to do physical works. Perhaps there are people that know the scientist in the streets, know the mayor. So the informal networks will become the most valuable thing when the other networks doesn't works. And I think this is the key for the success of the initiative in the Selene town. So basically, the community provide the communication gaps. Are those that translate the knowledge, the volunteer translate the knowledge and inform the citizens. And this is, I think, one of the most important point, understanding that let's say governments and public authorities during those events cannot really support you until the end. You need also to build bottom-up resilience in this sense. Yeah, I just wanted to focus on that, because even in our situations, even though if we implement really high level tech solutions to send messages to people to alert them, even if we design them, at the end they, for a very silly reason, end up didn't work. So we cannot really rely on them, as Selena mentioned. Yeah.
I think that's again profound. I think that's a very interesting thought as well. We actually have here, if Pau and Sharma don't have anything to add, we actually have Tanya here, who I'm sure you'll know her. She's actually very much involved in very much involved in flood relief efforts as well, because she coordinates it through the Road Track Club. So they were handing out stuff as well. But I think I can vouch for like most, at least all Sri Lankans during this time. It's the whole country, but we were all kind of like reaching out for each other, and like on everyone's stories, everyone's just like trying to check up for each other, posting resources, like local resources. I'm talking about like in your town, in your city, resources. Like someone has a boat, okay, someone puts up that guy's contact number with the boat saying, hey, if anyone needs this, it's there. So I think there's definitely truth to that. I think Sharma, you have much more experience with weighing in, and Tanya too. I'm not sure if I think she's out now, but if you can weigh in there too. And also something interesting for me from a different perspective was what when Pau mentioned in his last slide about how you can have these prevention and like resilience methods in place, but at the root of it, you also need to kind of address the systemic change that's needed. Like, why are floods happening in the first place, and why are we being affected by it? What's happening here. So if there's anything to add there, and also participants, if there are any questions on this line, you can add that. So that's sort of my thoughts there. You guys have anything to add, Sharma? How Tanya? Not sure if Tanya is able to answer right now, and even Mattia.
If I can just add a final thoughts, I think that the experience of floods here in Italy, both through the Climaton event I presented you and through the extreme events that lived Selene, in both situations, created the opportunity to make citizens more aware of what can their territory do, both in a positive way, but also in a negative way. And this inspired people to care more about their territory, which is something we were losing a bit in Italy. We think too much here and too less in the real world. I don't know how to express it, but so it's difficult to say, but it has been an opportunity to change people's minds and people approach to the space in this sense. Okay, just to close it.
Thank you,
And
Mattia.
really thank you for this exchange and this opportunity for sharing.
No, I mean, first of all, again, I honestly loved hearing each of your experiences and each of the insights that you all had to share. This was really like sort of like a knowledge exchange. And yeah, I found it quite rewarding. And I'm really so thankful that we could have all of you on board, Pau from Philippines, Mattia and Selene from Italy, and Sharma from Sri Lanka with all of your different experiences. So really, thank you so much for being here today. And we also hope what we'll do is usually we upload the monthly talk as a YouTube video. So in the future, if anyone needs to, refer back, it'll be there. Unfortunately, I have missed out recording the first pause, like half of your speech. I've missed out recording it, unfortunately. So maybe I'll be in touch with you to try and figure out how to get past that and then upload it on YouTube. But that's the plan from here. If there are no questions from the participants on the chat or unmuting, I think we can wrap up the session for today. Again, guys, thank you so much. And yeah, any closing thoughts on like the exchange as well? I hope all of us have found it as helpful and interesting to sort of exchange information in that way. So, do you have any closing thoughts? Do let me know.
Happy to hear that, Mattia. Yeah, we should
Sorry.
meet.
Yeah, just to alert you, even on this side, casually, I booked a flight before the floods of K for Sri Lanka, so I'm really happy to go there to that I will be there next weeks basically. I'm very sorry that I'm coming in these very challenging moments,
Oh,
but I'm super glad if we could meet and have a coffee or a dinner. I would love it.
no, I don't. Yeah, we'd absolutely love it too. We can't wait to see you here. And you shouldn't be worried about coming during the floods or anything. We love having people over. So yeah, hope you'll really enjoy your stay here as well. And super excited to hear that you'll be here soon. That's awesome. And just as a finishing message to the participants as well, okay, we have Hanan who's saying I have to leave. Thank you for the session. Happy New Year. Thank you, Hanan, for joining and for all of your messages. We also have the membership link for GYBN Sri Lanka on screen if you want to scan the QR code and follow us on our socials. That will be great. But yeah, apart from that, I think we can wrap up the session today. Thank you everyone for joining. Compliments of the season and Happy New Year. I'm early, but
Thank you.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Thank you. Happy day. See you soon. Bye.
Listen, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye, Pau. Thank you so much for joining. Bye, Sharma. Bye, Mattia.